Maybe on top of the piano or something at the very least.
Because it's very cool.
Oh yeah. So that's working. This means
I wonder if it's fine for my piano.
oh, that's not too bad for your piano. So that's working. Start that. Oh, yeah, that's working. That's good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it's because it's through there. I'll adjust it when, because it's playing through here this time. So, oh, you want some space?
Well, it's just that that's not.
Oh yeah, there's the stand there. The flute stand's right over there.
Oh, did you translate stuff for the website for Flute Festival?
Yep, soon. I have it all printed there, and then we'll do that. Okay, so that's working. Everything's good. Okay, so yeah, hi everybody. This is our first little monthly hangout. There's Amelie right there.
Hello.
If you can't hear us and stuff, just tell us in the comments, and we'll adjust all the voluming and stuff like that. And we're just very, very happy for this to happen. And that's it. We'll just wait for the questions. But basically, like recently, we've had a couple people ask some really, really interesting questions. Like the one guy about breathing and vibrato or something like that. Remember, like, oh no, the pressure, air pressure,
out, yeah.
breathing out.
Yeah. So if there's no question right now, maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So
okay, great. So there's been a question about how to breathe out. And the person was asking if you need to flex, and I think more than one person asked us if you need to flex when you breathe out. And yeah. So I don't know where that comes from, that people would flex.
Yeah, it's right here, I think. Question? Yeah. Question was like, came from Scott Cohen. He said, I'm really enjoying your videos. And he says, there's a lot of videos and ways about to explain breathing, but he's having trouble with the expelling of air and the idea of support. And then he finds that when he tries to properly support his sound, it sounds very poor and forced or pushed, and he becomes very uncomfortable. He says other explanations, other videos, I guess, say that they're supposed to push out their stomachs to properly support. And he made, in regards to vibrato, that makes it very difficult. Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So he says that makes it very difficult to create vibrato if you push your stomach out while you breathe out. That's something to do that. That makes it muscles instead, almost like pulling in, but he said pulling out. So, but that seems to create a lot of tension. Can you explain what to do? Yeah, I could do that. So what it should feel like and where within the body, push, flex, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So breathing in is the unnatural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing out doesn't take much energy or energy at all. The diaphragm is its normal place is up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Exactly, yeah.
When you breathe in, it goes down, but naturally it wants to come back up, so we'll push the air back out to come back up.
It's almost concave, right? If I'm using the right word, like it's concave, it's like that. And then the lungs are up here.
It's like a bowl that's
upside down.
Upside down.
Oh, yeah, it's like a bowl like upside down. That's a good way to think about it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but that's what I saw.
Yeah, that's what I saw too
recently. Yeah. So blowing out the air is not really an effort. Shouldn't be an effort. But the thing is, it's to blow the air with a constant stream.
Part, yeah.
And the same amount of air or the same speed or the same pressure. That's the thing. And not to blow everything out at once. But I don't see how you can breathe out and push your stomach out. I don't.
Unless you're forcing yourself.
But it's so much energy to do that. Yeah. I need to focus a lot to do that.
And it's not supposed to take that much focus, right? I would even when I was younger too, I didn't have to. There wasn't that intuition.
No one ever told me to do
Yeah,
that.
no one ever told me to do that either.
When you do yoga, meditation, all those practices that tell you to breathe, qigong and tai chi, they always say to breathe. You breathe in, you push your stomach out. You breathe it out, you push it in.
Totally.
It's like, and then you bring it back in. So I don't see where that would come from, but maybe I just don't understand something. But no, personally, I don't do it like that. I just breathe in, and then
right.
I just control the airstream. I would say the muscles I use are where the ribs come together,
where both ribs meet
under there. If you do
at the very bottom, I see. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty high.
Well, I mean at the bottom of the ribs where they meet. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just here.
I see.
And if you do, you feel it there. And if you do,
I see. And like
you can even see it. I don't know if.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we can see it.
And it comes from here.
Right.
And then it moves here, but really it comes from here for me. So I breathe in, and then. But.
I see.
So that's how I push out. Then another thing flutists seem to do a lot when we're out of air, we tend to go back like this.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of either front or back. Yeah, totally.
Well, front is better.
Okay.
I think.
Back is worse. Back is like.
Of course, because you're extending all your muscles. How can you push out the air with extended muscles like that? Totally. If you bring your body forward, it helps to push it out a bit more. It's like you're working against your own body doing that. And then at the end, when you have almost no air and you still need a little bit, I would say go front. And it shouldn't be that complicated.
That's what I was going to say.
Push the air out.
Yeah, his comment sounds like there's something in his whole way of breathing. There's one thing that's either missing or being done wrong, and then if one of those things are either added or removed, it'll get better.
Yeah, I think it's overthought.
Overthought completely.
Maybe overtaught.
Overtaught, yeah.
Sometimes we overteach things.
But like you were just saying with the belly thing.
We want to help, and also teachers, we tend to give images when we teach. Images, they're good and bad, because if I say, "Oh, I feel like this," well, maybe you feel another. If it's not concrete enough,
okay,
then you might just interpret my image as something completely different. I had a teacher saying, "Oh, breathe low, use your diaphragm." So I thought my diaphragm was around my belly button for years.
Right. A lot of people thought that.
Because the image was bad, when really the diaphragm is pretty high. So it's always be careful with the images you use and the way you phrase things to your students, because then you might make them understand something that's completely false, and then it might really be more difficult for them to play. So yeah, but breathing out is a natural thing.
Yeah, breathing out, it's supposed to be, it is a natural thing.
So then you have the lips that kind of hold it so it doesn't get out all at once.
Yeah.
The tough thing with the flute is that we don't have an embouchure.
Yeah.
We don't have built-in pressure in our instrument. If you play the trumpet, you have resistance. So you have to support. If you play the oboe, if you play any instrument, you have some type of resistance. Flute is like singing. You have no resistance. It's an open embouchure. Go. If you decide to play,
it's going to sound like that. It's not going to sound very good.
With no energy, just then
we almost have
you can do it, and it will sound. You'll have a sound. You can do. Or you can go. I don't even need vibrato to. I have some type of support in here. But that's just the energy that you do, and then you just do the same thing in your flute. And then that's without. I think you can hear it.
I can hear it.
No support.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say for support. Maybe it's not complete. Maybe another question would help.
Yeah, we almost need to develop our own resistance internally a little bit.
Yeah, and if you don't put the resistance in the right spot,
there could be problems. Yeah.
There will be problems because you need resistance somewhere. If it's not in your belly that you make that resistance, you might close your throat. That happens often. People don't support, so in order to make the sound, they close the throat, or they over.
Oh, they tighten the
lips
like crazy.
Crazy, and then it doesn't sound good. You need resistance somewhere, but if you don't put it in the right place, it's gonna come in the wrong place. So you might go and play.
Right. Yeah. Now it sounds.
Because I'm not supporting, but I'm making resistance with my throat, my lips. So throat, lips, it's open. Throat is open. Lips are firm, but not tight, and not either. Yeah. But I would say it's like that for every all music playing, any instrument. It's not about being completely relaxed, because then
sure, it's not going to sound well. It's not going to sound
good.
No,
and even if you want a good posture in general, if you're too relaxed, is never good. Tight is not good either. It's just, in French we use the word tonus, just having I don't know the English word for that, but just having some type of energy, I would say, or internal. How would you say that, tonus?
Tonus, is it spelled like that?
Yeah. Muscle tone, muscle tonus.
Contraction, muscle. It's like muscle tone, muscle tonus.
Continuous and passive part contraction of the muscle.
Pathological tonus.
No, it shouldn't be pathological.
Yeah, it shouldn't be pathological at all.
But what I mean is just holding yourself without tension.
Over tension, just holding
without too much. Oh, I'm so relaxed that my posture goes. No, I'm just supporting myself.
Not over supporting, just supporting like normal.
Yeah, just. But sometimes normal, if you have a bad posture, normal is not necessarily what you feel normal might. But I would just say that. But it's the same with blowing in your instrument. It's just everything has to be in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't want lips like that. Completely relaxed, but you don't want this.
Like super smiley,
tight, or
smiley face,
smiling, or like no, just straight like that.
Don't overthink it, I guess, too much. Just.
Or if you have to think, just take a mirror and don't just straight lips.
And
put your flute, keep everything pretty natural, and blow.
Totally.
But it's a long search. It's a long quest to find the balance of where the muscles need to be, I guess, and how to breathe in, breathe out. It's all natural, but you have to learn the
natural way.
Yeah.
Well, I know another person was saying on your flute,
or
not lose it. Yeah, try to always bring it back and get it back.
Because maybe sometimes we teachers are maybe a bit guilty of over teaching things, and then making our students mixed up. I guess.
It's true.
Sometimes you need just time and simplicity, and things come explaining things simply, and be patient. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know there was one person talking. Speaking of breathing and all those things, I remember in our breathing video, a person was asking, do you have any tips or exercises to increase the air speed when blowing?
Oh yeah.
So
okay. When you want to use low air speed,
yeah.
So slow.
Yeah, slow. Yeah.
you breathe out warm air, like that's slow. When you play in the low register, you like that, slower. When you want to use higher speed, you use cold air.
Yeah, the air
and then
tends to be
that's
colder, right?
Easier in the high register.
Oh,
if you use cold air in the high register and warm air in the low register. But that's how I use warm and cold. That's
how you differentiate, right?
Fast. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm playing and if I do a
right,
I will not use the same airspeed, but it always changes. Like there's a wide variety.
Yeah, you can mix and match. You can do a little bit of like a little bit of warm, a little bit of cold, like trying to balance those things out in different parts of the range of the flute. But those are the general ones, the starting points. Like
that's the starting point. Yeah.
Slow air tends to be warmer. Faster air tends to be colder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's a very good one. I know there was somebody else talking about recently. Oh, how to hold. A big thing was like people want to know how to hold an exercise to make their breaths last longer. Like simple exercises that, because a lot of people they can't. Some of the kids they can't blow a note for longer than 4 beats. For regular 60 beats, something like that.
Students have that problem. I have students they start 6 seconds and they're
toast.
They're done. They can't
breath.
Blow more than that.
Right.
There's a lot of different things you can do. You can. It seems funny, but one thing that helped me was to hold my breath. Because sometimes it's not that you don't have air to push out; it's that you just want new air. Your body's asking for new air.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah.
So if you go,
right,
and wait,
and see how long
20
you can
to 30 seconds, it just trains your body to wait for air.
Because you're trying to get more air. You're always, I see.
Because you're not exchanging it, you're keeping it.
Totally.
So that's one thing. Then you have to take a good breath to begin with.
Right, a good breath. Yeah.
Sometimes students, they take a good first breath when they play their piece, but all the breaths that are in between two notes are too fast, too stressed, and not efficient. So they have almost no air because they don't use the diaphragm. They just go, and if you go like this, you're just putting air here in your chest. You're not really filling up. So that's a problem because people want to breathe too fast. They think they're in a hurry when really they're not in a hurry.
When breathing. Oh, okay.
We always have a little bit more time than we think we do. Or most of the time. Most of the time we have more time than we would imagine.
Okay.
And anyways, if you think fast, you're going to close your throat. Well, can't talk for everyone. For myself, if I think breathe fast, I'm going to, and it's not efficient because I block. If I think slow and fast, so I start breathing slow and then I increase the speed, then it goes. Did you hear that it was slow and fast?
I did,
Because it's pretty fast. It's the same it takes the same amount of time,
to feel.
but it's more efficient, and I don't feel as stressed.
Yeah.
So let's say I do it again. I have to
breathe
make
out,
space, and I go.
Yeah.
And now I'm completely full in 1 second.
It's almost like that experiment, like, in science with the big bag. They have a big plastic bag, and you have it closed, and you go up in the air. It's only going to fill up very slowly, but if you have the bag open, it fills up super quickly. You have to feel open, I guess, and then it'll fill up faster.
Because maybe it's that. Maybe it's just that if you think breathe fast, you don't even take the time to open your throat. But if you think slow, then you have the time to open the throat, and then it comes in super quickly. So that's a big problem I see in students. They take a good first breath, but then not so good. They try to do too fast. Another thing is something I do with my students, we put the metronome at 60.
Okay.
They take a deep breath, and then they blow as long as they can. And not super. That doesn't take too much too much air, because you want it to be encouraging.
Totally.
So, like a ghost note, you play that as soft as you can.
So you play as soft as ghost notes to play as soft as you can. I see.
And pretty low, because
almost inaudible.
Yeah, like this.
Right.
This way you also control the air speed. You almost put no air out. You're managing your air. You're just going a little bit at a time. That's pretty cool to do. If you get better, and then you write down. I think writing down is an amazing tool.
Yeah, it's very important to keep like a log you beat.
Yeah, because you say, oh, I can do 4 beats today. Oh, and another thing, once you think you're done, do a second one. Don't do just one, because sometimes a second time you can blow longer. I don't know why. You go.
I see.
And then you have to fill up yourself, like.
Right.
Sometimes you have to blow out. I remember I was playing in a band that the arranger had put me in a super long phrase with all 16 notes in the high register. Didn't have a second to breathe for a long time. I didn't want to screw it up. I didn't want to stop to breathe, and I'm not very good at circular breathing. So I had that strategy that 3 bars ahead, I had 2 bars to breathe out, to make as much space as I could, then 1 bar to breathe in, and then I could do it.
Then you can do it.
But if I didn't breathe out first, no, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, yeah, if you do have some type of thing like that, and you have the time to breathe out first, that's a good way to do it. If you have the time, it doesn't happen all the time.
We have an actual question. Yeah, so she was Christine is wondering if you can talk about articulation when playing quick double tonguing passages, like the opening of the Iber or double tonguing in the Poulenc Sonata. Sometimes the notes don't line up exactly with the articulation. Is the issue the fingers aren't fast enough, or the tongue, or is it an airspeed issue, or all of the above?
No, it depends.
Right.
It would be interesting to hear, Christine. Double tonguing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For articulation, you need a good support for sure, because the beginning of the sound, the air has to be already there. The support has to be there before you start playing, because your first note's not going to be good. Then, double tonguing in the Poulenc. I played that.
Yeah.
A
long time ago. Me too. A long time ago.
I'm not sure I remember everything, but I know there's a tac 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 tac.
Yeah.
Okay. What I did to be able to play that was, but that's not that bad, because it's doubled notes.
Right.
It's not. It's
not
taka taka. It's taka 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 twice on each note. I guess.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, those parts. That's it.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
When practicing double tonguing, what I do, I practice the K alone.
The K alone? Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I practice anything. I did a G4, EG4 in the Tapenel Gobert.
Yeah, EG4, yeah.
I did the whole thing, double tonguing to get the... I remember when I learned that, I was pretty young, and I didn't have the how do you say that? I was getting tired. My
Right,
tongue
you were
was getting
fatigued, yeah.
tired before the end of that long passage with doubled notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I practiced the whole thing, doubling every note, the whole EG4. Then I thought the other thing was a piece of cake after that.
Yeah, so that's on Tapinol Gobert, the exercise book, right? Yeah.
But let's say I teach double tonguing. I would start with the K alone. And then I would put kata, kata, kata. I do it opposite, you know.
Oh, yeah, you reverse it.
I reverse it. And then I do it
back to the regular.
That can be even practiced without a flute. Kata 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 kata, and then if you can do it reverse, then
you can do it the other way
it
too.
gets so much easier. So that's a way. And sometimes if things don't align well, I don't know if she tried it. Maybe she can tell us.
Yeah. Let us know.
I would say slow down. Go back to ultra slow. Listen to yourself. And of course, air support is super important.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, air
can
support.
I see
super.
that?
Yeah. Maybe, Christine, if you can answer us. So we have the music here. Is it on the first page, probably? Just here? I think that's it. I think it's that, I think. That's one of the double tonguing. Or right here, too. Like, this is one of the shorter ones. Yeah. Right. So that, I think like something like that. Those parts, I guess. Same thing with the Bear Concerto. It has the same stuff like that as well. Yeah.
But I would do it. Let's say that little passage there.
Yeah.
The same way I said before.
Right.
And then.
And then go faster, right? Right.
Now I did it.
Yeah, you did both ways.
Reverse,
yeah, reverse and then forward. I see.
And slowly at first.
Yeah.
Because if it's not aligned, it means it's too fast. You don't have time to.
Right.
You always have to go back to slow.
Yeah, you always have to go back to slow. Right.
Sometimes you go back to slow. It solves a lot of things because
a lot of people get comfortable with fast, but then they think it's great, but really sometimes it's not. You have to go back to slow.
If you want to regain your control over a piece, because you learn, you get better. And at what point, sometimes it decomposes itself. It means you need to go back to slow because it's sliding. You know?
It's going away. Yeah, she was saying she was saying the part I think there at the high part stuff.
Oh,
that's what she was saying.
And there it's high, so it's even more difficult.
Yeah, there it's high. Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, and you can't use a thing there that I just realized. You can't use your your thumb for the B flat.
You can or you can't?
You cannot.
Yeah, you cannot. That's right.
You have G flat. G flat.
Yeah.
G flat cannot sound good with that. So if she's using that fingering, her G flats won't sound.
So she's saying basically, don't slide your thumb off that big thing. Instead, use the other part.
This one.
Yeah, the long B flat, because it won't sound. It's true. Yeah, I guess remember that too. I remember hearing that a long time ago. Try not to use that.
Because if I use it, it sounds like this.
Oh yeah, it's already gone. You're already out of I see.
So
the other one. Now it's fine.
Oh, no.
So Christine, that's pretty much it. I think that could be probably one of the issues, is that G flat sounding weird and then throwing you off maybe as well.
I don't know if she's using it.
But we don't know if you're using it because we don't see you. So, but maybe even next time, maybe on our next monthly cast, if you have a camera or something like that, we can add you to the show and we can go through it together. We do these every month, so Yeah. Well, that's a great question. Thanks for that, Christine. If anybody else had any questions, we'll answer them. And if Christine, you have other questions, just let us know. But yeah,
or
like those.
that
Yeah,
wasn't answering her.
Yeah. Oh, she said that. Yeah, that's she said thanks for answering.
Another thing you can do if things don't sound the way you want and you think you're not putting enough pressure, might be to sing in your flute. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, you're a big fan of singing in the flute. Yeah. Singing the flute's fun.
Singing in the flute.
Right. Yeah.
Then, plus, it's piano, eh? So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, piano is tricky because when you need to support even more in piano.
Yeah, you have to support more in piano.
Okay, when you play forte, let's talk about that because
sure.
You have articulation, piano in the high register, which means high register already needs a lot of support. Piano in the high register even more. So what do you do when you play? Everyone did that in the summer, playing with a hose.
Yeah, they play with a hose, right?
With a hose. You play with your hose, and you send your water to a specific point. Let's say your brother.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Your mom gets tired of you getting it to your brother, so she lowers the volume of it.
Yeah, she closes the valve a bit. Yeah, not fully.
Now the water is not getting to your brother anymore. What do? You close the hole a little bit.
Put your thumb over it a bit. Create pressure somewhere else.
Yeah, so that's what you need to do with your flute playing when you play piano, because you have less air, but you want it to get at the same place because you don't want it to...
No, exactly.
So you get everything smaller, the hole smaller, but the airspeed has to be there.
Yeah.
A lot of
air. Yeah.
No, speed.
Speed,
but less air.
Less air, but more speed.
To help that speed, you make the hole tinier.
A little tinier,
so, Not,
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Because if I'm playing forte, and then piano, it's always
way smaller. Yeah. How would you go about training your lips to be able to change those minute ways from smaller to a bit smaller to bigger? What type of ways what type of exercises would you use to develop that?
Well, sometimes I put a tuner. I play a note and I go like this. I don't have a tuner, so maybe it won't be perfect this time.
Okay.
So I start piano. I go forte. I go back to piano. So I have to open and close
you open and close
lips.
your lips. I see.
The most difficult part is going back to piano. That's the tough part of it. So let's say I take an A and I try it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. At the end, when you go back, it's always the more difficult part. So maybe even focusing on that.
Yeah, and then I can do. Well, I had another thing, but what did you want to ask me?
Oh, nothing. Oh, she was just saying that she's like she accidentally played it like that a while ago, and that she didn't know why it sounded so funny. But now she's been using the long fingering.
Oh, so for a while.
For a while, yeah, already.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Great. Okay, great. What was the thing about? Yeah, the lips.
The lips opening and closing, and.
But that's a bit difficult if you're not used to it. Just a long note like this. You do once you do forte, once you do piano.
Piano, yeah. If you can do it in one breath, right, or take a breath in between.
I have to practice, and you can do it like that. Totally. With vibrato, without vibrato, you play different ways, but just to more, and then The angle is different too. You play oh, and you send the air more down when you play forte, and then more and in front because you use vowels as well. But I'm not sure I'm helping people because I'm talking about a lot of things. I don't want to mix up people.
Well,
Maybe
people. That's why people
wait
can ask
for a
questions. Yeah,
question.
people ask more questions about. Don't feel like if something goes over your head, feel free to ask it, and we can elaborate more. That's why we're here for that. So
Yeah, because using vowels is a good way to control
that's
your dynamics.
Right.
If you try to play piano and saying ah, it's not gonna work. You should use u, o, u, something more of a closed vowel. If I'm trying to play that with the a, it's not. But with the I don't see it anymore. But you see what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I was like closed it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, another thing with embouchure, one person was saying their top lip curls in onto
Like
their
that?
teeth. Yeah, like that.
little...
Yeah, like that almost, or even under the teeth.
Under the teeth. Okay.
I think, or to their teeth. And
well, if it curls, I guess it curls like this.
I guess so. Yeah, it's hard to tell, hard to say, but yeah, it's probably that.
Okay.
And then she can't make a sound.
Yeah, of course. I don't see how I could. No.
It's very interesting, huh?
Does she try to smile? Did someone tell her to smile?
That's a question. Yeah.
Some people teach
to smile.
Saying smile when you play. So for some people it might help, and for some people you can say pull down your, and it might help. But those are, you have to make sure you're telling it to the right person. You can't say that to everyone.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Because I would say that to someone who smiles too much. I would say pull down. It doesn't mean you should pull down in reality. It's just that person, if she feels like pulling down, maybe it will help. So maybe that person who does that, maybe if she tries to pull down, it will like balance things out.
Oh, probably.
Like going like this a little bit,
Yeah.
Exercising her, and then keeping everything lower, her lip and everything down, and
yeah.
Not forever, just to bring everything back more balanced. But with just that, it's difficult because I don't see her.
You don't see it, yeah. Another thing, a lot of people, I've read 2 or 3 comments before. People wanted a general, how would you teach somebody what an embouchure is? Like we were talking about that a little bit before, but like a first person that you teach, when you're teaching embouchure, what are some tips that you teach to make, like to explain it to them when they're first starting out?
Well, when they first start out, I just explain how it works, how it whistles, how the flute whistles, that you need to keep the hole pretty open because there needs to be air going in and out in order to have the whistle. That it's an open embouchure.
Right.
That the hole should be closed 1/4 to 1/4, 1/4 to 1/3 of it should be covered with your lower lip, not more than that, and not to cover with your
top lip
either.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll tell you, sometimes with students, especially younger kids, I don't over explain things. I show them, look, do it like this. If I see that it's all fine, all good, why would I tell a young kid all those things if it's already good?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's how I would explain it to begin with. Keep it open because people tend to either close like this, close like this, or push, take that lip and put it over.
Oh yeah,
like this.
Totally.
And
I've seen that before.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
And or do this. People just bring it in.
Right.
they feel more comfortable and more secure doing that because the sound sounds a bit better close to your flute.
Right.
But from far away, you have no sound when you do that. You go. It sounds like, oh, my sound is good, but in reality, it doesn't project at all. When with a more open hole, you open the sound a lot.
Interesting.
But the sound production, I think, the embouchure is pretty simple, and we put too much. We become very, very stressed about our embouchure when the sound production starts with our body, how we blow out, how we take the air in. That's a big part of it. How we attack the first note, because the air has to be there already. That is just the finition. That's the last little
thing on top.
Yeah, it's like the
finish, like the lacquer,
the varnish.
The varnish.
I think you have to have all that. I would work more on the posture of a student who starts than on the embouchure, maybe in the beginning, because bad posture means bad breathing, but more difficulties with technique. It's like it's a foundation.
I think Natalie was saying, how should you polish your flute? So we just did an episode about that on Flute Myths. You can check that out too. But basically, polish is kind of not I don't know, I wouldn't use the word polish a lot, because polishing cloths on a flute is very abrasive and it removes stuff. And having a polishing cloth, the ones that have the little bit of a film on it, I don't really like using those. I like using more like this thing here, almost like a microfiber cloth in a way. Something like, it's silver. Like
polish the outside.
Polish the outside of the flute. A lot of people, they get these other rags, which are very, very like it's.
Like a bit like for the.
It's for polish. It's for jewelry. It's like a jewelry rag, and a lot of trumpet players, they use that for their brass instrument. But for a flute, it's silver, or different types of metals. It's almost like jewelry, our flutes. But I would recommend using something like this, like a microfiber, something that you would clean almost eyeglasses with. That's really much it. Because I remember even when I was a kid, I had the polishing rag. It came standard inside the flute.
It came with mine too.
And I don't know why they gave those out to them, because in reality, it actually wears out the flute a lot more. It does clean it, but it's not cleaning it the way.
But do you need to clean the outside that much?
No, really. I think people over clean their flutes. I think once a week they should clean the outside of the flute if you're really using it a lot. If you're playing for the inside of the flute, every time you play, you clean the inside of the flute. And we talked about that too in the Flute Myths video. Getting either cheesecloth, very, 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 very soft but absorbent type of fabric, wrapping around and cleaning the inside of the flute. But the outside of the flute, almost once a week or so. A lot of flutists, or young flutists as well, they get a bit crazy sometimes. They polish it after every single time they play. And I think that's not very good for the flute.
You need a flute repair to just clean.
To clean the ribs. And the rods here. You should never clean, even with this over top. You should go very lightly at the very least. Like just go very light. But like the main parts, you can clean a little bit with your rod, and where there's bare metal here, that's fine. But on the keys, I would be careful, or not even touch them, because that's really for a skilled technician. Because over time, if you're constantly rubbing this once a week or even every day cleaning it, it's going to start bending through pressure, because silver and stuff like that, those are all very soft metals, and through time things get bent a little bit, and then when the repair technician comes, he has to replace it and put it straight again because of a little bit of pressure, one after the other. Silver doesn't bend around. Silver, if you push it down, it'll stay down. Or gold, if you push it down, it doesn't retract. It doesn't have a high tension strength. It's very low tension strengths, gold and silver. Once you push down, it stays down until you force it back up. So I'd be very careful with the very fragile parts of the flute, because the less amount of metal there is, the more fragile it is. The tube, it's very strong. It's going to stay where it's going to stay for a very, very long time. But like the rods and the keys, especially, because then the keys, they're hollow inside where you put the pads. I would be very careful with cleaning the keys the most. And but yeah, try to find something like this. These polishing cloths, they're not polishing cloths, but they're just cleaning cloths, very, very microfiber like. Try not to get the ones from the store. Try to find ones that are from like a jewelry store and stuff like that have no special type of like the polishing cloths. They have this special type of fabric that
Yeah, it
cleans
becomes
it,
black.
becomes
And,
black
yeah.
and tarnishes.
And also, it doesn't matter if your flute becomes black. It just
No.
means you have acidity.
Yeah, it just means
But it will
acidity.
sound as good.
Yep, that's a common misconception, and it's a huge thing that I'll probably talk about in the next flute myths. Is that when you see there's some flutists out there, they have black flutes, you see black and stuff like that. That just means you have a high acidity in your saliva and in your hands. You have clammy hands and stuff like that, and then the silver reacts to that and makes it black. It does not affect the sound, doesn't affect anything, doesn't affect the structural integrity of the flute at all. It's just that's how it is. Aesthetic. It's completely an aesthetic, and
it's just
doesn't
people
mean
don't like
yeah
it,
people don't like it, so then
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter. It's completely yeah. So that's pretty much how you polish your flute. But yeah, that's one thing I'll have to talk about eventually because a lot of people always talk about that. They're like, oh, your flute's so dirty. That affects your affects your tone or whatever. But it's completely false. So try to get if you have a polishing rag like the ones that come standard in the flute case. I would get rid of it and find something more microfiber like
jewels.
Or use it for your jewelry. Yeah, if you have a lot of jewelry, use that because that's what it's meant for. Because although our flutes are technically silver jewelry type of stuff, but it's not really that. It's an instrument instead. So yeah, good question though. It's good to elaborate on that because it brings up new questions sometimes like that. So yeah. What else is there? We have a little bit more time. If you have any more questions, we'll do another 5 minutes, and then we will be signing off for the first Patreon monthly hangout. We opened it up to everybody this time because it's our first monthly one. So if you go to our Patreon page, you can find it through one of our videos. We have a Patreon video. You can check that out, and you can. Oh, you're welcome. You can. Pay as little as $2 and you can access our monthly hangout and also get videos one day earlier than everybody else on the YouTube channel. And yeah, so hopefully if you like this, check that out so you can come back to seeing us again next month. It would be, I think, March, at the end of March sometime. It was usually on a Saturday. So if you do that, there we go. So let's answer one more question. There's Christine again. Do you have any advice for future flute performance majors?
That's
you want to put one little piece of advice and I can get one after?
Well, just start.
Okay, I'll start. Flute performance major. Okay, so my advice is play a lot. Try to play as much as you can in school, but while you're in school, try to also play outside of school a little bit so you can see the ins and outs of the real world, because inside the school you're going to be playing a lot, but it's going to be a lot of experience, like free experience. A lot of things are just going to be handed to you when you're playing sometimes in school because you're given opportunities. But don't be discouraged to go out and play somewhere, play at an old folks home, play at a concert somewhere, make a concert up, figure out what it takes to play. That's my standard advice. There's much more to that, but that's what I would say. Build yourself in school, but also while you're in school, go out and play a couple gigs, figure out how the real world works in music in your area, because generally it's the same in every city how it works. If you find out how it works out there, it's pretty much how it is, because a lot of people either go to school in state or inside their own city, or they go somewhere else, but try to get out there a little bit while you're in school, and that's my advice.
Well, I would say also sometimes students at that level put a lot of admiration in their teachers, and sometimes it becomes a bit like Yeah, a bit.
A bit unhealthy.
Like
Yeah.
they're our gurus, you know.
Yeah, they're like our
well,
gurus,
everything
right?
they say is the truth itself,
The
and
word. Yeah.
just protect yourself from. Even if your teacher is very good, just keep always keep some type of a healthy not criticism, but you
Healthy
know,
mentality, a healthy mentality.
just to keep your own I'm looking for the word, but to keep not give that person all the power over what
Over
you think
you,
of
yeah.
yourself. And oh, you don't have to agree with that person for everything.
Right.
It's funny because universities were created in the beginning. The first point of the universities in Europe in the Middle Ages was to have a place where you could confront ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could collect, like join it together,
not
right?
be not agree, and it was a place to
disagree and to agree. Yeah.
But sometimes I feel in music, especially with your instrument teacher, you have to be a good little pupil,
Right. I think
it's okay, but some teachers are amazing, and some teachers can take advantage of that at some point. Sometimes you don't see them coming, and I'm not saying everyone does that.
No,
but
right.
It's just always be careful of not giving someone else too much power over what you think of yourself and what you make with your life, because some teachers might tell you can't do this, or
you should
have this problem.
It's not your time to do this, or you'll learn it later.
Yeah, or any type of just be
I always found that there was a guy.
Be safe,
be safe. Yeah, there was this one guy that he was a first year in school, and he was a saxophone player, but he was so good. He excelled incredibly, great player. He played gigs already at 19, and his teacher threw him back so far behind that he was playing. He told me he was telling him, all those things you're doing, you need to stop doing that. Stop playing gigs. Stop all these things. You have to relearn the sax, all these things from the beginning. And he was very, very depressed for a while. And we were all trying to convince him. He's like, just, don't totally listen to your teacher full and through. You're doing stuff, just
most of the time we're young people. We're still impressionable at that age. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I wouldn't have the same attitude I had.
Totally, me too.
18 years old, That's just... Yeah. So just keep a healthy distance in a way. But there's one last thing.
One last question. We'll do one last question.
Double tongue constantly on low notes?
Yeah, Marco. Marco was asking us this. I like to sing the low register. Helps.
I think it's the same thing as high. Just you have, as you say, some people have difficulties attacking in the low register.
That's right.
It goes because the air is slower, as we said.
Yeah.
So because the air is slower, it doesn't
react as fast.
So maybe, how do I do it? I kind of I prepare the air.
You prepare the air a bit.
Yeah, so that it's there, it's coming, and then the tongue. I think
for me, it's a bit. I overcompensate just a tiny bit.
Then. And also, I think in the low register, it's easier to go daga daga than taka taka.
Right.
Okay. This way, the air, because the air is going almost like, it's almost rolling instead of going straight. Mm-hmm. So if you go taka taka, it disturbs it more than daga 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 da. Anyways, when you want to go faster, it's like taka. Taka is here, ta ka. It's far. When you go daga, it's like daga 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 daga. It's you're going halfway, So, and I think that's way easier in the low register to use those.
Yeah.
Maybe the first note I would use da because it's a bit more clear for the first one, and then I would use da. if it helps, but
yeah, but
also maybe
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe if people want to use their webcams and
yeah,
when
next
we do
time,
that
yeah,
and send little things so we can see,
let's
it's easier to
yeah,
answer.
next time, guys, Natalie, Christine, Marco, if you check out our Patreon and do that, bring your if you have a web camera or something, log into your account and we can add you inside with your flute and we can do a little mini lesson during the Hangout and work together on that. So next month we'll be doing that. Check out Patreon and then we'll send out a link through Patreon. You can pay just as $2 and then $2 a month, and then you can join us on here because from now on we just wanted to open up to everybody, but try to bring out. We encourage you, yeah, get your flute out and bring a camera and log in like you usually do here, and then we can invite you, and then you'll get an invite through that, and then we can do little micro things like that.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody. We're done. Thanks to Christine, Natalie, Marco. Thanks for asking questions, and be sure to check out the Patreon page if you have any questions anytime. Anyways, just go to one of our videos and ask a question, and we will try to get back to you as soon as we can. We're going to be making some new videos this week. We have more free time, so hopefully we'll be doing some more videos and more stuff like that. And thanks again.
And we have the Flute Festival.
Oh, plus, yeah, we have a Flute Festival coming up in July here in Montreal. We're going to have a Flute Festival, so we're going to have a lot of things going on there as well, too. The Montreal Flute Festival, that'll be going on as well through the partnership of the Flute Channel. And yeah, oh, you're welcome, everybody. So yeah, be sure to check out the Patreon. Be sure to check out more videos. And if you have any questions, just either leave comments in this Patreon monthly Hangout video once it's uploaded, so you can we can ask you more. You can ask us more questions later on. So thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
Great. Bye.
Bye.